This is Neural Search Talks, live from KMWorld 2023 in Washington, D.C., and Enterprise Search and Discovery. I'm here with Tony Rhem, principal of AJ Rhem and Associates from Chicago, right?
Yeah, we got office in Chicago as well as outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
And Tony is a long-term technology and KM practitioner and a leading advisor on these matters. And he held a very interesting talk in KMWorld session, which was really focusing on the ethics side of applying AI, right?
Absolutely. So I had the fortunate situation where I delivered a talk on AI ethics for the enterprise in the enterprise AI world section of the conference.
Right.
The other session I did was AI ethics and its impact on knowledge management, which was done in the KMWorld section, main section of the conference. So at the end of the day, it was all about ethics, and one focused more of a big picture view from the enterprise and how does the enterprise get its hands on it. And then the other presentation around AI ethics and knowledge management is specifically about the delivery of knowledge and how using AI and the delivery of knowledge, either embedded in your knowledge management systems or systems that stand alone that produce insights from text or other input that produces knowledge. How do you get your arms around that and the ethical implications of that?
So our audience is mainly techies, right? Mainly really AI folks who are building applications. So what are let's say the top 3 takeaways from your view on AI ethics and what people should kind of be thinking about?
The first thing is understand that you have to put together or leverage a AI ethics and governance standard. There's several standards out here. The White House has put out information on an ethical standard. You got the EU Act, you have OECD, you got NIST, that's publishing standards and governance as far as AI.
So you think like the engineers, the techies should basically be very aware about these regulations and standards?
Be aware of those standards. However, the organization needs to adopt and integrate one of those standards into their own already established
processes and governance frameworks.
So then that will guide the developers in what is needed to address or align with some ethical standards. And those ethical standards then become part of your own company, right? And so that's the one thing. The other thing I talk about is having a diverse team, that diversity of thought, having knowledge specialists or knowledge managers involved, BAs involved, besides your data scientists, and
not only techies but also
business folks.
People. And,
you need subject matter experts to understand the domain in which you're building that application in.
Makes sense.
And so the techies, we want to run and start developing something, but you need to align it with the business problem that you're trying to solve, right? And you need the SME who understands that area to be able to interpret the results more accurately than for folks that just purely on the technology side.
Right. And so ethics is about preventing harm to some extent, right?
Yeah,
so what are like the biggest near-term issues that people should be worrying about?
Well, in near term, from an ethics perspective, you need to make sure that your application does not create any harmful effects on any certain groups of people. That's one thing. Make sure that it is adhering to what the goals and objectives are for that application.
Right. So fairness, unbiased decision making,
trustworthiness, to make sure that, hey, when I'm using this, I'm confident that it's not harming my social economic group, that I'm really getting the information and knowledge from it that is ethical and is correct, it's trustworthy.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to have a sense of, okay, this is something I can really use. And for the companies that are developing this is great because it gives their customer base a certain mindset of security that I can use this without
Right.
issues.
So one of the big issues that has been talked about here is like retrieval augmented generation and AI search engines and generative AI, right?
Right.
How it basically changes the interaction model, how basically there is a problem of factuality and reliability sometimes,
Right,
right?
exactly. And the other main point in my conversation is everything starts in data. You have to have ethical data to train the algorithms
Right.
so it won't produce unethical
Yeah.
results.
So let me focus a little bit more on that issue of reliability. So do you think that let's say current generation AI systems, AI powered search systems, and knowledge management systems are kind of ready for widespread usage, or do you think there are still like issues preventing that?
Well, search has evolved over the last few years, and most companies are already moving toward more of a semantic search, AI-powered search.
Which I guess is good, right? Because many people were very frustrated with their search systems.
Exactly. Those search engines and search companies that are doing that, their products are evolving enough where it can deliver more reliable results. So from a search, that's fine. But when you talk about the buzz now with ChatGPT, BART, all the large language models, that is not yet ready for me, the prime time use. Where LLMs are coming into more prevalence in my mind is that within the firewall, in your organization, bringing in LLMs to process your own data.
Right.
So the data that you
users like it, right? Users like it. We read that about half of the people in companies are actually using ChatGPT for their work regularly,
which is an issue.
And so it can be worrying, right? If it's not controlled.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to control it. Most organizations have either put some guardrails around it or just prohibit use altogether.
Yeah.
Because
but that's not tenable, right? That's not gonna last.
Right, exactly. Because you don't want your employees putting proprietary information into the ChatGPT or any large language model.
So privacy and security is another concern.
Absolutely. And that's another part of ethical AI and governance is that privacy and security piece, whether it's PII information, personal identified information on you individually, or maybe you're in the healthcare sector and you may be violating health laws by putting that data in.
Security has to be the foundational layer of anything, right?
Has to be. I mean, that's regardless of AI, anything else, but for AI in particular, right? So, it's a lot of cybersecurity opportunities there for companies to bump up their cybersecurity and even using AI tools in cybersecurity to help beef that up too. So.
All right. Exactly. I don't want to keep you too long because you have a keynote coming up.
Yes. Exactly.
So maybe just as a last thing, so definitely AI was the sort of the buzz and the topic of this year. What do you think will be next year's kind of main theme?
That's very, very interesting you said that, because what I'm seeing more and more, and which I've been a proponent of the last few years, is the integration of AI and KM. So AI-powered knowledge management.
Right.
So you have.
So you see that coming to maturity, basically.
I see it taking the next step. It's still evolving, but taking that next step where you see more companies like a Bloomfire, like a eGain, and these other Coveo, and these other companies bringing AI into their products.
Right.
And still, even when you bring AI into a product like a knowledge management product, you still have to, adhere to those AI ethics and governance rules. So you can't escape there. You got to make sure that's in.
So as we see more maturity in products and more widespread adoption, this sort of practical aspect of near-term ethics will become much more important.
Absolutely.
And maybe if I may ask, what do you think of the executive order that was recently issued here in the White House next door to regulate AI? Does that capture?
Yeah, the executive order from the White House and U.S. government is a step forward, right? But it still is not enough. We need to peel back the onion a little bit more. And so, where it's executive order, how enforceable is that, right?
Right.
And so. Does that give a company a guideline? Does that give the company some time to adhere to that? And what are the ramifications of not adhering to it? So it gives you some guidelines. It's giving you the notion and the watchful eye, so to speak, that the U.S. government is involved.
Yeah,
and we're watching this.
They care.
Yeah.
They're doing something,
Right.
but not enough.
It's just a first step.
It's a first step.
In my mind, just a first step.
Right.
There's other organizations that are further along with AI policy standards and governance that we in the U.S. need to continue to evolve ours as well.
All right. Thanks, Tony, for the interview. Wish you success with the keynote.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.